Hello everybody, Gisele Grenier here. In this video lesson, I'm going to be using my gel plate to paint a rock. So I have no idea what's going to happen. I brought out some supplies. Let's get into it. So I've got my gel plate here and I'm going to call it the supplies now, but at the very end of the video, I'm going to go over the supplies I actually end up using. So I've got some rocks here and I'm going to show you how to prep these. Now, take a look at the description below for the link to the original, or go to the actually better YouTube channel. I have a rock painting playlist, and I think I have one on Facebook as well. So I've got two rocks here, one to show before and after, and I've got some DecoArt Americani multi-purpose sealer, DecoArt Chalky Gesso, the white, DecoArt Media Fluid Acrylics, Phthalo Blue, Titanium White, Primary Magenta, Metallic Gold, and some DuraClear Soft Touch Varnish. I've got a little cosmetic sponge, and I've got some stencils. So this, and you can use anything you want. So what I did is I've got these stencils here and they come with the backgrounds, which are amazing. So in another package I cut up the backgrounds and you get some really interesting shapes, and these are great for smaller pieces. Okay, and if you want to see these stencils, go directly to decoart.com and they have an online catalog, a shop, and you can see what they are there, and then you can contact them to see where where they sell in your local area, or you can buy it directly from them. Now this stencil is the Personally Yours Between the Lines. It's Saloon. Love the name. Where am I going to put this? Oh, okay. So I'm going to use this. It looks like little pebble stones. And then I've got the Personally Yours Urban Ink, and it's called Beliefs. And I'm taking this for the heart. Now, I can hand draw this, but I want to see if I can stencil directly on a stone, which I know is going to be a challenge. And what I've also got is I've figured out how I was going to bind my little book. I'm going to color these up, but this is how I work my journal. So what I'm going to do is find some blank pages that I'm going to use to pick up the remnants of the paint. I don't want to waste any of the paint. And if you're interested in what this is, it's at Staples. It's the Arc System. It's not some fancy brand out there that charges you 50 times what it's worth. It's just the Arc System from Staples. And there's a punch and there's the discs. So what else? Let me use, I don't know, I should be able to pick it up from here. I don't have any more. I could use that one, but we'll see. All right, so first thing we're going to do is prep the stone. Let me get this out of the way. Now, when we were working the stone, in the very first video I did, I talked about, basically, you get your stones. I get mine at Home Depot, using a vegetable scrubber, wash it warm, soapy water, rinse it really well, and let it air dry. And then, depending on what supplies you use, so if you've got the DecoArt patio paint, the outdoor paints, you can use that for all the stones without having to seal or use gesso. But I'm going to assume that you don't have those. So what, let's say, is to be double sure is to apply a few layers of multi-purpose sealer, all sides, one layer, let it dry, another layer, let it dry, etc., etc. I do not use a heat gun. And with this, it's best if you create them in batches. So line them up 10 at a time, do one, and by the time the 10th one's done, the first one should be dry, you flip it over, do the back side, etc., etc. So multi-purpose sealer, which I put on this one here. Then you're going to come in with some gesso, and the gesso creates the tooth for the paint to stick on. So I'm going to put a little bit here. And this DecoArt Chalky Gesso, absolutely love. Oh, hang on. See, I forgot a color already. Let me go here. Raw Sienna. Now, this is a speck. I'm talking a speck. That much. And what it is to tint the gesso. And that's already too much. Well, that's double that up. It's about this. The amount of gesso you need for a stone this size is about the size of a loonie. So if you round that out, about that. Our Canadian dollar is now a loonie. Our $2 is a toonie. And it's just to tint it. I didn't want it pure white. Okay, so that's that. Now you can use a brush. You can use whatever you want. If your stone is super porous, like this one here, okay, you might be better off using a bristle brush, because what you can do is you can come in and this pushes the paint in there. Look at that. It's got a heart on it. Look at that. Isn't that cute? So you're going to come in and you're going to cover the entire stone with enough layers of gesso so it is completely covered. So this is one layer here, and that's 2 layers. You can still see the stone showing through, and so you're going to put that on. And what it does is that it just makes sure that it's covered, because what I'm doing is I'm assuming that the person that's going to be using the stone, I'm assuming the worst: sweaty hands, food on the hands, leaving it outside in the rain, in the snow. They always assume the worst, unless you're guaranteed that it's, you know, just going to sit on a shelf. Because if you prep for the worst, then your stone isn't going to fall apart, meaning the paint's not going to chip, it's not going to peel, that type of thing. Especially if you're selling the stones, you do not want the paint to peel on the stones. And by the method I'm showing you, I still have stones that are sitting outside in the Canadian winter. You know, I don't bring them inside, and they are good as gold. Except when Joe does the shoveling, if I forget to take the stones up, he breaks it in half. All right, so you're going to repeat this with the gesso over and over and over again until you get a finish similar to this. Okay, it's opaque. I do have a little bit more of the yellow here, but you want it to be completely opaque where none of the gray of the stone shows through. Okay, so I'm going to go off camera. I'm going to finish doing the stone. When we come back, we'll go on to the gel plate part. All right, so I've got nice coat on that, completely opaque. And I'm taking some phthalo blue, putting that there. That's too much, but I could only use so much on there. And I'm going to start off with about 3 times the amount of titanium white. And let's bring the white and then just bring a little bit of the blue. I'm looking for a soft blue. See, there we go. That's all we needed. Like that. All right. You know what? Maybe, let me throw a little bit of gesso in there. So I would say if we use straight gesso, it would have been twice the amount of gesso to the blue. So what I could have done is put a toothpick inside the bottle. You just need a very small amount. There we go. All right, so now, you know what? I don't think I have enough on there. I don't think I have enough on there. Let me just grab this. We don't need a lot of coverage. I'm going to take my gel plate and my brayer, and I'm just going to get a nice coat over that. You don't need to be, I'm going to make sure I have, it'll cover the page just for the leftovers. Oops, I've got some dirt in there. No, it's not on that, it's on the roller. All right. Oh. Let's see. Ooh. All right, now I'm going to put the stencil on top. And I'm just going to roll, just to press. I'm just pressing it. I'm going to lift it up. Now I'm going to take the rock, place it down, and gently roll it and lift it up. Okay, that's kind of small. That's kind of small. So let's do that again. I think I have another way of doing this. I think I have another way of doing this. I'm going to use the other stone, and if that doesn't work, then what I'm going to do is I can put tissue paper on this. And now I'm going to use the flat stencil, or the flat rock. Okay, just going to press that down a little bit more. I'm going to try to roll it and lift it. So we got a bit of a better impression here. So the idea of going all the way around the stone, I'm thinking, what's the best way to do that? Well, the best way to do that is the tissue paper. Let me just roll this over. Let's get some grunge on there. I mean, this is doable. As you know what? I'm going to use this one. That's doable. That is usable, but on a stencil, on tissue paper would have worked just fine. This is all dry now. Okay. So let me just clean this up and then we'll go on. So I'm going to use this one here. I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to do this one here. Probably figure. Oh, I came up with an idea for this one. Maybe I'll show both. Okay, I'm going to do this one with the intention for the project, but then I'm going to give you a bonus one with the other stone. Okay, so I pulled out everything I need for the other rock. I'm going to show you that after. So I'm going to take some primary magenta. I need a good amount of that. And I'm going to try it without white. So I've got the stencil here, the Personally Yours for the heart. So my idea was to stencil this on here. We'll see if that's going to work. No, you know what? I'm going to take a little bit of gesso. I want to make this a bit more opaque because this is transparent. The only thing is that we're going to lose the vibrancy. That should be okay. That should be okay. Water. Because this is fluid acrylics, you want to use very little. I'm going to start on this side here. And normally what I would recommend is using a low tack adhesive to stick the stencil to the rock. But it's Canadian winter. I can't open my windows because it's minus 32 outside. So I have to work with what I've got. Not getting all that. The stencils are really thick. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's all right. It kind of foobarred there, but that's all right. The other way we could have done it is right on tissue paper and just stencil right on tissue paper, which makes it a little bit grungier. Yeah, I still can't get in there. I don't want to use a brush. Might have to, though. There. Now, if we used a brush, seriously, just very little paint, working outwards, outside in. I don't want to push any of the paint underneath the stencil. I guess something like that. There we go. So that's the way. Now, the other rock, we're going to use the stencil method on tissue. Actually, no, I lied. Well, yeah, I sort of lied. We're going to stamp, but I'm thinking you could do this with, you could do it with paint as well, but this stencil is really delicate. Or not delicate in that it's flimsy, it's just like super thick. So I'm going to take that and put that aside. I think you could also collage that right on there. So I'm going to let that dry and put that aside. Now to do the other rock. So this is what I was thinking. That I would take these feather pieces, and I already have a piece of tissue that I've stamped like crazy. And I found I like this one, and this one needs to be done. And this is cheap dollar store tissue paper. There's nothing fancy about this. This is a stays on stamp pad. And this, what I recommend is doing a few impressions. Oh, perfect. So you can, see which one you like the best. So that's that. Put that aside. And the beauty with the stays on is that you can work right away. So in order to do that, I'm going to bring out some matte medium and my little scissors. And I'm going to think, which one do I want to use? There's that one which lets more of the blue show through, or this one which has more detail. I'm liking that one. So I'm going to cut around as close as possible. And I'm going to cut it, I'm going to wiggly, like go wiggles, like not a straight edge. And I don't want to tear this because I really want to get close. If I knew it wouldn't destroy it, I'd throw it in my scan and cut. I hate fussy cutting. I can't stand it. I don't have the patience for it. Even this is this is making me a little bit anxious. So I'm putting that feather there. Now with this cheap tissue paper, actually, could I do another one? Another feather as well? Yeah, I could do the other little one. With this tissue paper, because it's so cheap and thin, it's exactly what we want. The tissue will become literally invisible. It'll become invisible. Now, the video I did before this where I tried to do stamping directly on the rock, I ended up scrapping that video and doing it on the tissue. And I usually go in 3s, but there's not enough room for the 3. Let's see. 2 does not work for me. Let's do this one. And we'll cut that one. And there. Okay, so I'm going to dry fit first. Never glue it on without laying things out where you want. Because once this goes down, you won't be able to bring it back up. Let's go up higher. Overlap that just a little bit. And make this one like that. So that's what I'm thinking. And I can put the little quote there if I wanted to. Okay. So Decor Art Medium Matte Medium. And because we're collaging with this, this is not an outdoor product. So we are going to have to seal this. So although the gel plate printing, that technique worked, the rock, because it wasn't flat, I'm going to start from the top and work my way down. So the rock itself not being round was the challenge. Put a little bit more matte medium, very, very thin layer. And I'm going to work this one here. Like that. And then this one up here. Do not be stingy with the matte medium, and make sure it's a really nice, even coat. Otherwise, you're going to get bubbling. Now you can use these for meditation stones. You can use them for yoga stones. I am using mine as stress stones because the minute I hold this, because the stone is cooler, my brain immediately goes to the feeling of the stone. And when I start to do some breathing, my stress just kind of goes down, and my heart rate slows, which means my blood pressure is coming down. Now this one here, I'm going to put a layer of matte medium on this as well. I like this one too. I'm not a fan of heartsy stuff, but you know, Valentine's is coming up, so these are really cute little projects. And I think the bag of stones that I picked up at Home Depot was a massive, massive bag of stone. I think I paid maybe $25 for it Canadian, so in the US it'd be a lot cheaper. But you use whatever you can get. Gardening centers have these, and they're tumbled stones, round stones, but don't, you know, even if you can't get round stones, don't let that stop you. Okay, so that's that. So I'm gonna clean this up a little bit and gonna let that dry, and then when we come back, I want to do 2 more things. Here I want to basically do the quote on this one here, and I'm going to collage the quote on this one, and then another layer of matte medium, and then I'm going to do some splattering. So I pulled out these little quotes, and I printed these in canva.com. I have a pro account, but you can do this with a free account. They've got some beautiful typewriter style fonts, so I picked for this one Choose to Create and then Friendship. I would have, though, loved to flip the design around because the Choose to Create would have fit better on this here. I could also just put Choose Friendship and then get rid of 2. There we go. There's always a way of making it work. Now, I chose not to stamp on this because my stamping skills directly where I can't see with these little baby stamps is atrocious, so I thought I would do this. Now, I printed these on just plain photocopy paper, not cardstock, because I want these to actually fuse right to the stone. So I'm going to put these over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some gold metallic paint now, and when that's drying, then I'm going to edge those, and just a little bit. Now, if you don't like splatter, take a skewer and you can just dot. Actually, this is better than the splatter because I don't want any of this under where the words are going to go. Oh, nice. I like this. I can also not cover any of the feathers. Now that word's going to go right here. I think that's where I said I was going to put it. Gisele. And then work around it. That is adorable. So this here now, if you want to get it all over the rock, would take a little bit longer because you have to let that dry, and then you're going to flip it over and do that. This one here now, I'm going to do this in 2 stages. So actually, what if I just did it with this? I want to outline let's see if I can get a bit closer. Ooh, it's a little shiny. Take my glasses off. Hopefully I'm not going to get in the way. I am not a fan of gold, but I think for this it works well. White. Oh, I should have used white. I can still use white. What if we fill the whole heart with these gold dots? Or do a layer of white, layer of gold. I wonder how that would look. See, this is the problem when I'm creating art and I start to see things. Does that happen with you guys? Do you start working on something and then it completely changes? Whoopsie, I went off there. I would drive myself, and it's not a nice word, but I would drive myself crazy doing this. Because I would say, no, I'm going to let the piece, I'm going to stick with my original goal. There's absolutely nothing wrong I read the book Creative Calling by Chase Jarvis. There's absolutely nothing wrong with letting the art take you somewhere, because you know what? When you're creating, it's about the journey. It's not about the destination. It's not about the finished stone, unless you're doing a commission or selling them. It's about exploring. So what would happen if we did that with white? What would happen? Okay, well, let's try. If I took the... let's start here. And I don't have to line them up to the other dots. I'm just going to fill it in. And if it doesn't work, then I learned a lesson. You can't say, oh, it'll look terrible, unless you actually try it. You have to do the work. I had students when I was teaching art, they'd consume all my lessons and then not do the work and then complain. Oops, that's too big. And then complain and ask questions. And I would say, well, okay, show me the work. Well, I didn't do it. Well, then how can you complain that something didn't work if you didn't do the work? You know, you're here watching the video. Do something. You do something with this. Even if you don't want to work on a stone, do it on a journal page. See, I'm talking and I'm getting these rocks all wonky. But you know what? Who cares? Who cares? Now I know I can't talk and do dots at the same time. I can't talk and do dots at the same time. I like how the shape of some of those are taking. And it also is how I'm holding this. I think there's a Gumby pokey on the end of this. Yeah, on this side I think there's a sliver. I don't know why we even have these for barbecuing. Like, we don't use them because it's too dangerous. Okay, so now we just have a straight line. You know what this looks like? Sequins or rhinestones. It's not bad. It's not bad. I don't mind it too much. And if I just take a few little white dots. Maybe if I put some here. Oh, that's cute. Okay, I can do that. I can do that. But you know what? I've learned something from this. And now I'm going to take a little bit of the gold. See, the gold on the blue is much more subtle. The blue on the gold? Yeah, the gold on the blue. Oh my goodness. All right. So that's going to take a bit to dry. So let's get the collage. Because we can do the collage. We don't have to wait for that. Now, you know what's going to happen if I don't clean that paint up? And then when it'll be off camera, but when the whole stone has dried, then I'll do the back as well. Oh, I got some paint on there. I'll have to regesso that. Yeah, so that's from a dirty mat. All right, I'm going to take a little brush and, oh, skip the step. All right. I just want to edge that. Doesn't take much. Nice. And then I'll do the other ones. Oh. I'm going to do all the words because I'm not sure if what I want to do with that. Now the only thing is that I'm edging that in black. There's no black in here. So what I should have done was edge it in the pink, the primary magenta. That's what I should have done. And for it to be fast, I'm trying to figure out but also about making my own stamp pad, because I've got these inks that are absolutely gorgeous. And if I use that directly on this paper, the paper will just curl like curly Q French fries. Oh, that's cut really crooked. Wow. That is cut really crooked. And I put too much ink on that one. Okay, so I could put, let's see, choose to create or choose friendship, or just friendship. I don't know. I don't know. Friendship or choose friendship. Create. Choose to create. I think it's too small for here. So let's just go with the original idea. And I'm just going to put a little bit of matte medium right here around the gold. I'm going to put a little bit on the label. There we go. And make sure that that is dry, the ink. Just feather that out to make sure you don't have a hard edge. Okay. And I'm going to work choose friendship. Of course, I do this all the time and now it doesn't work. There's no air bubbles. Just turning it around to make sure I see that the actual photocopy paper is right down flat. Yeah, that looks good. I'm going to put just another little layer on that. These dry? Yep. That one won't be dry yet. All right, so we didn't need the TO. Okay. So basically from this point is if you're just showing, you're just going to be putting these on the shelf, they're good to go. But if you're going to be like if you know they're only going to be for decor, or if you're going to be selling these, put them in indoor use only. But if somebody wants to put it outside as a garden stone, you need to varnish it. So with this, you can choose. There's like the Duraclear polyurethane varnish. There's so many different finishes. There's ultra matte, matte, soft touch, satin, gloss, and high gloss. Ultra matte, matte, soft touch, satin, gloss, and high gloss. I think that's what they are. But these are indoor, outdoor. Okay, so you can, do that. So with using the ultra matte, I'm going to lose a little bit of the shine on the metallics, which may not be a bad thing. You can see where the paint is starting to spread out a bit. So I've never used the soft touch on a stone, so I want to see how that's going to turn out. Let me just hit this with the heat gun just for a sec. Just to kind of give it just that extra. Ideally, wait 24 hours before varnishing, if you can. So I'm not going to varnish this one because I don't want to wait, but I want to varnish this one. So you, again, with whatever varnish you use, make sure you read the directions. The decor stuff, the polyurethane, is the only thing that's indoor outdoor. Other than they used to have a decoupage product that was indoor outdoor, but they stopped making it. But like the triple thick, the decor media varnishes, the traditions, that stuff is not indoor outdoor. And not a small brush. You want to use a big brush. Minimize brush strokes. So you wait 24 hours for your piece to dry. You're just going to come in and nice fluid strokes. I'm only going to do the top because I still want to put the dots on the back. There we go. So you take a look at it. Are there ridges? Nope. Where I need to make sure is here. Make sure there isn't any ridges at all. And I'm talking about ridges like varnish ridges. Because that's the way it's going to dry. There was a little one here. And inside this little pocket here. That is so cute, it being a heart. That would have been better, the heart on this one. With this little heart here. And then when you start feeling it getting a little bit tacky, stop. All right, and then basically you would repeat that a few more times on all sides. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these aside to dry. And let's quickly go over what I actually used in materials. And again, you are not obligated to use exactly what I use. Use what you have in-house just to get it done. I don't want you saying, oh, I have to go buy this, that, and that. No, you don't. You don't need to buy anything. Use what you have in-house. So let's see, that. And bring this. Oopsie. Okay, I'm going to get rid of the big stuff first. So I used the DecoArt Personally Yours Urban Ink Stencils. I used Beliefs for the heart. I've got my gel plate here. There's a ton of recipes online how to make them yourself. And I used the background stencil, this little pebbly one. It's the DecoArt Personally Yours Between the Lines Saloon. And I just realized the camera is on close-up, so hopefully you didn't miss anything. Tissue paper to stamp and stencil on. I just use my acrylic block for the stamp. And I just have my feather stamps. Pick these up on Amazon. Rocks, obviously. DecoArt Americana Multi-Purpose Sealer. DecoArt Chalky Gesso the white. DecoArt Media Matte Medium for the collage. A Stays-On Jet Black ink pad for the stencil stamping. DecoArt Media Fluid Acrylics, Metallic Gold, Primary Magenta, Phthalo Blue, Raw Sienna Titanium White, and Americana Duraclear Soft Touch Varnish. And then, of course, the brayer to roll the paint and the paintbrushes and all that other miscellaneous stuff. So options, remember we were talking about if you're using like the DecoArt patio paint, you can skip this and this. Okay, if you're using specific paint, you can skip. Actually, if you're using this, you can skip this, this, and this. But with the rocks, because we did collage, we use this. You have to seal. If you think the rock is going to be used outside, it just gives a layer of protection. You use such little. I've actually just today threw out. I'm not a fan of the high gloss stuff. But because I haven't used it, that same bottle, I've had it now for 6 years. I've just had to throw it out because where I put it, it's 3 feet from the heat vent and it hardened. So, yeah, but it goes. Just if you're not going to use the stuff for a few months, just shake it, every few weeks just to make sure it doesn't solidify to the environment. That maybe it was just me. I don't know. But some options. use any color or use metallics, whatever. Just use a bright red, a bright blue, something yellowish, even yellow oxide with titanium white and the gesso, just to create that initial base. And for stamps, I mean, you can use bubble wrap to stamp. You don't have to go out and buy stamps. Just use bubble wrap. Use whatever you have around the house. You don't have a stamp pad? Roll paint onto a piece of wax paper and just put your stamp in that, or just whatever. And then I also just use some extra paper just to pick up the leftovers on my gel plate. Now again, like I said, there's a bunch of recipes online how you can make it yourself, so you don't have to spend money, because they're expensive. But look at that. All right, so no sealer, and that one has a seal. But look at that. It's just got a tiny little shine to it, just a little bit of shine. Just a little bit. I really love that finish. But there you go. So there you go, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you give this a try. If you do create it, post it on your social and post a link to the post below in the comments so I can take a look at it. I love seeing that. I'm looking here, and boy, that paint really spread out, eh? Really spread out. I can fix that by just going back over with some paint. Let's say some of the magenta paint. It'll be a little bit bumpy because it's still a little bit textured, and then just do the dots again. It's no bit, but it's not coming off an assembly line. Okay, I do prefer this one because I'm not a fan of hearts, but I do prefer this one. So I have another idea to do something a little bit more whimsical. So I have an idea for that. Again, if you don't want to do it on rocks, do it on a mini canvas. Oh, a mini canvas. I've got these tiny little magnet canvases. More ideas. I've got a little piece of paper here with some ideas that I have to... The next one I want to try is embossing on the rock. I don't even think I'm going to do that with a stamp. What I'm going to use is probably my Versamarker, draw, and then do the embossing. How does that sound? All right, let me know if that's something you might be interested in seeing. All right, so I'm going to clean up, get ready for my next video. So I hope you enjoyed this. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and don't forget, comment below the link to the piece that you did, or any suggestions, feedback, or anything else that you want to see. All right, so until I see you in the next video, stay inspired.